So tonight we're getting our archery on. We're gonna channel our inner Robin Hood.
Archist.
Archist? Well, you can be an archist at Archery, Idaho. It's a full draw outfitter, so you can be an archist and draw. This is Thomas's dad's place. Let's check it out. She is archery. I am the land of land and land. I am the walrus. Cuckoo, cachoo. All right. So,
sounds good.
Speaking of Thomas,
Bye.
so you got all the swag and stuff. You can go total Walking Dead here. You can be Daryl. So, this is it.
This is it. We got multiple rooms, multiple levels.
Multiple levels.
Like a video game.
Nice.
Follow me. We got our bow press and countertop area. This is where we make our sails. That's where we fix all the bows there and in back. Then we got most of our archery bow inventory here.
So all
Accessories
compound.
Yep. Compound bows.
Do you ever just want to pet these? Or have you already spent time petting?
Now, I've got a pretty good story about petting this one as a kid.
As a kid?
If you got time on your video for it.
Oh, we'll make time.
This thing. So as a kid, my brother and I, this is at our house, and we'd get up on the couch arm and pet it. And it was on a bolt it was on a nail, not a bolt. And I just pet it too hard, and it fell off. And one of these horns hit me in the back of the ear and knocked me on the ground and knocked me completely out. And my brother's like, he's gonna die, he's gonna die. He ran upstairs, and I'm passed out, and blood's just coming out of my head, and they took me to the hospital.
That's
Do
awesome.
you still have, did you get stitches?
I got some
in there?
stitches, but
That's a
it
bore.
was my 2 truths and a lie. It's not there anymore.
Oh, okay. I can see it.
Like
That's a synthetic ear.
It was just before kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh.
I'd go to school and they'd do the 2 truths and a lie, and I'd say I got gored by a deer. So,
You didn't specify if it was dead or
Bear.
exactly. Yeah.
great.
So as a kid, did you ever touch their eyeballs and pick their nose and do childish things like that?
Yeah, all the above.
I would
Still
too.
do it.
And then put my hands in the bear's mouth. And
Ah!
so.
All right, let's check the rest out.
Okay, so I was telling Chris is that on a compound bow, it's different than a gun because you can sight a gun in and it's going to be pretty much the same thing for almost everybody, Like some people might be really specific, but you can almost hand that rifle over to somebody. If that scope sighted in, they can pull up and shoot it. With a bow, it's a little bit different because our face is built different on our anchor points where we're looking at the bow, how far we're pulling the bow back, and that'll change how fast the arrow's going or how quick. I was going to say quick. It's going to change some angles as well for how long I pull it back, or if somebody got a longer draw length or a shorter draw length, or where I anchor on my face. All these things are going to play a role. So with archery and a compound bow especially, you have to adjust your sights to fit per person. So I can't just sight it in for me and hand it to somebody else. It's going to be a little bit off. So a little customizable that way.
Interesting. So you've got pretty much every kind of hardware, bugles, accessories. So, Thomas.
Yeah.
Do you guys ship?
We do ship, yeah. And we're working on
Everywhere?
an online store. So, but you can see us on Facebook or Instagram. And
What's your Facebook?
Just Archery Idaho. Archery Idaho.
Archery Idaho.
ArcheryIdaho.com.
There you have it.
And do the same thing for Archery Idaho, Idaho Falls, Archery Idaho, Pocatello, because we do have a second store. So we've got way more inventory down there too. But this is where we stack the bulk of all of our inventory. So
Nice.
I don't think I've probably been to over a dozen different archery stores around the U.S. and I don't think I've ever been in an archery store that's as compact and has as much archery equipment as my dad's.
Nice. Very cool. So all of you archers out there watching this, make note. Check them out. There it is again, archeryidaho.com. So is it too soon to make Harambe jokes? Does anybody remember Harambe?
Nope.
Serious?
I don't know what you're talking
Dude,
about.
Harambe is the name of that gorilla that they had to kill because a kid fell into the gorilla pit,
I didn't know that.
and he was just kind of like playing with the kid, and they killed the gorilla, not the kid. So now you too can shoot your own gorilla.
Oh, shoot.
That probably came out wrong.
You're gonna get some heat for that.
Okay, ignore that last part. Shoot a hyena in the tush and see if they laugh. So now we're upstairs from the store. You've got all your targets here from everybody shooting. And all the way down here are your targets. How cool is this? You could actually shoot indoors. And all of this that you see here is just sheets of cardboard stacked up, and then you've got all the insulation back behind it. Very cool. And now we're gonna see how we do. We're gonna practice with this one here and the longbow. See how we do. Wish us luck. Okay, so Thomas is now gonna teach us archery uno o uno.
That's right. So you have all sorts of different types of bows, but shooting them is going to be about the same thing. So with a compound bow, recurve, longbow, even a crossbow, there's one main rule you want to follow. Aside from shooting somebody else, you don't want to shoot anybody because it will hurt.
Little things.
But when it comes to protecting the bow and not damaging the bow, you don't want to dry fire the bow. So that would be pulling the bow back without an arrow and then letting go. Because it's going to focus all the energy into the arrow, and if it doesn't have energy sending to the arrow, it's going to hit it through the limbs or through the cams. Stuff that can happen is your string will pop off your cam, or you'll crack or break a limb, and the higher the poundage, the more volatile the bow can be. So like a heavier pound compound bow could bend the cam, snap the string, break a limb, and it's just no fun because you can hit your arm that way. Or I heard of a guy, limb broke, came back around and hit him on the back. So you don't want to dry fire bows. These bows are a little bit lighter. We don't have to worry about that as much if it happens on accident, but it definitely helps preserve the life of the bow. So that's rule number one. And then next thing I was actually going to show you, want to also know what eye you're dominant with when you're shooting a bow. So a really easy way to tell, and if you're at home and you want to see, is I make a little diamond with my hand, keep both my eyes open, and pick a friend and look at their nose with both eyes open. Just bring your hand straight up, look right at their nose. What eye do you see, Chris?
I see your right eye.
All right eye. So, and if you're not with somebody, you can kind of
You can focus
trace
on
it.
What's your eye?
But if I forced it to my left eye to look at his nose, I get a double image. So that means my right eye prefers to focus on items, even though my left eye is actually stronger on my prescription. I don't need a stronger prescription on my left eye. So my left eye is stronger, but my right eye is dominant. So if you're right eye dominant, you're going to shoot and pull back with your right arm. And if you're left eye dominant, you're going to pull back and shoot with your left arm. So kind of a couple different things. So if you want to check and see which bow you want to get, you can shoot. I've got friends that shoot right-handed because they just close their left eye, which is another thing you can do. If you want to just shoot right-handed, you're more comfortable right-handed, you just close your left eye. Because if you keep both eyes open or focus with just your left eye, your shots are going to be off. So anyway, that's a little tip there. Next thing is when you pull the bow back, and I'll show you loading an arrow, typically depending on the rest. And on these we'll go below the knock. This is the knocking point, this is the knock. You want the knock to be below the knocking point, that little brass piece. And then you want this odd feather to face away from the bow. Because when it comes across the riser, you want it to come across smooth. And if it came across the riser this way, that plastic vein will bounce off. So you gotta make sure you load that properly. There's a few different ways to hold the string. You can do like an Olympic style, shooting with 1 finger on top and 2 on bottom. Or you can do 3 on bottom. That's what my dad does for the archery at the schools program quite a bit. I have a lot of kids shoot with 3 underneath. I was taught this way. And then when you go to pull the bow back, if you curl your fingers to try to get some strength, because that's what our tendency is to do, the arrow's going to come off sideways. So you want to just make a hook with your fingers, start with them about where that middle crease is, kind of let it roll the other way, because then the arrow's going to stay on the bow. So that's a pretty common mishap that happens with beginner archers that are starting. They're trying to get that strength to pull the bow back and they curl their fingers. So you want to almost have the string go the opposite way. Don't need to exaggerate it as much as I did, but the more you get used to it, it'll pull back and you don't want it doing this thing. So you might be having a bow that's too heavy poundage for you, or you just need to work those muscles. So next thing is, if this is the target here, you don't want to stand straight onto it. You don't necessarily want to stand straight against it. It's good to have an open stance and to straddle the line. That puts everybody's arrow release point at the same spot. And if you open your stance up a little bit, it's going to open your chest. Because another common mistake with beginner archers, even advanced archers, is they can hit their arm. You want to avoid that. You might be a beefy guy, work out a lot, or you might lock your elbow out sideways. You want to get that turn without turning your arm out or getting like this and trying to avoid it. You still want to be nice and tall, like the letter T. And then just make sure your arm's not in the path of the string. Because if you're pushing hard with your arm and it's in the way, then you're going to hit it and it hurts. So you want to avoid that. Next point is finding an anchor point and just being consistent. You want to always hit your face at the same spot. If you're changing it, it's going to change where that arrow flies. So as you find your spot, find your center, you feel like you're on, you just shoot. So that's pretty much it. It's a long video.
He nailed it right there.
Yeah, I didn't hear this.
Missed the bullseye.
We were going for technique.
Yeah,
Exactly on that.
All right, so Leslie's up to bat. She's the first one, besides Thomas's
One shot.
miss.
So there's going to be a couple other things you can do to help from keeping hitting your arm. Obviously you can get an arm guard, but if you can avoid having to use an arm guard, because if the string's hitting your arm when the arrows, when you release, it's going to throw off your arrow trajectory a little bit, because it just does. So
Yeah.
if it hits, then that turns the string a little bit. So a couple tips is you want to still push like you're pushing against a wall, but if you're over gripping, that's going to get your hand in there too far. So I actually have my hand a little bit at an angle, and then I follow kind of a line down there, and it fits right in. I should feel comfortable. And my knuckles are kind of at an angle there as well. You can see that all right there. Like that. Is that all right? I see that there. And that's going to help keep your arm from being in the way. So if you're bending it too much, that's going to give you torque. You don't want torque. You want it to still stay as even as possible. So we're going to work on your bit. Right there. Kind of like pushing right there.
Okay.
Right there.
Oh, so I have
Pushing
to
this
do an
one,
angle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, like
Like that?
So, because that'll help keep your elbow
Okay.
from poking out.
Yeah, because I kind of got long,
Yeah.
cleavers.
Okay. Load this.
Under this thing there? Or is it up under? Okay.
Just like that. And you can try 3 fingers under or 1 finger on top and 2 on bottom, either way.
And then that's the piece that goes out. The
The
purple,
odd,
the
yeah,
odd
the
color.
odd
Okay.
color goes out. You won't need your pinky or your thumb.
Okay.
So it's kind of a hook like this.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And
And then you
I
want to
know-
push like you're pushing against the wall and pull back tall. And you want to keep this elbow up when you pull back. It'll give you more back strength. Okay.
Feels so awkward.
That's all right. Yeah.
Like
Because if you're
this?
down here, it's going to be not as much strength. But yeah, then you'll pull back. Go ahead and push
Okay.
and pull. Pull back all the way to your
Okay.
cheek.
I'm just going carefully.
Yeah. Okay, I'll let.
I'm sorry.
No, you can go a little even farther. Let this string come right by your cheek.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
Wish I could my face into it now.
Yeah, and you can even put your nose on the string. It'll help line up, you know, or close to it, because that'll help line up the arrow. And then you're going to want to aim down, and the target's going to want to be somewhere right about here. So right now you're high.
Okay. So I aim down?
Yeah, you'll aim lower here.
Okay.
So as if the target's maybe right here in your sight.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
how do
great.
I line up the target?
That's great. Just go ahead and release and see where it hits.
Oh.
Great.
Oh, I have
So
the
you see
paper.
that? Yeah. So,
Exciting.
yeah. So that's all
I
right.
just didn't want to screw that up.
No, you're doing great.
Okay.
So the point with that is now you're just making an adjustment. So you know you get down to the right and you need to
So close.
to the left.
Okay.
So
Where do I line it up?
Round one.
no side.
She's got this.
You can kind of use this as a reference point.
Yeah, okay.
You can kind of use that point as a reference, because if you were to put a sight here, this is where there's 2 screws. If you were to put a sight there,
Okay.
at this close of a yardage, it's going to be right in this area.
Okay.
If you scoop farther back, you could use the point as a reference, like if you shoot 50, 60 yards, the point's going to be way up here, but you see that angle? Show Chris that. So the angle of the arrow, right now that would hit the ceiling.
Oh, okay.
You know? So here, where we're so close, you want to keep it, the arrow's almost parallel with the ground.
So the arrow's automatically just going to get a little bit of height
Yeah,
when it goes
depending on
off.
how fast your bow is, how far you
How
can
far
go
apart.
back. Yeah, sounds great. Try for round 2.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay.
I'm analytical. So
Yep.
I'm
No,
gonna
that's
think
great.
about it.
And there's math that's associated with it. I
Yeah.
don't know it, but.
Oh, great. Math.
And you did great on pulling the bow back without having the
I'm
arrow
so
come off.
nervous. Okay.
So now let's get your grip back.
Okay,
in
yeah,
really
that's
like
where
it.
I gotta
Yeah.
work on my grip because it doesn't feel so. And I know it's
So
an angle.
let me
What is
see
that
here.
angle? Okay.
And go ahead and you'll want the pressure right about there.
Okay.
And go ahead and push against me a little bit. Right
Okay.
there.
So
Yeah,
okay.
so it's, and it'll kind of follow that line right there.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Because if you're locked on here, that's more bone to
Okay.
bone through
Oh,
all the
okay.
way. It's okay. Because if you try to eliminate as much muscle play as possible.
Pulling that
Yeah.
way.
Keep pushing, great. Okay, and go ahead and aim down a little bit. Try that. There you go. See?
Even closer.
Yeah, so you overcompensated that time. And what I was going to tell Chris, like I was saying downstairs, is it's like when you first start throwing a baseball or a softball,
Yeah.
you don't have any sights when you throw a baseball or softball. When you start out with bows that have no sights on it, it's called traditional shooting or instinctive shooting. So as you throw a baseball more, it becomes instinctive to know, okay, this is a glove I want to hit. You know, and you're still not always there, but the more you practice, the better you get. So with archery, it becomes instinctive to know where to shoot and where to aim. And some people get really good at it. There's some excellent instinctive shooters. So this part of your forearm out of the way, a trick to get this part of your arm to practice it. And right when you're shooting, it can be tough. Like you can go against a wall and turn your elbow, but that can be a little tough. So another way to do it is if you picture there's 2 ways to touch your shoulder. You can touch the top of your shoulder and bring it down, or you can touch the inside of your shoulder and bring it out. So if I touch the inside of my shoulder, my elbow is going to be in the right position and totally change that angle to help keep the string from being there.
Okay.
So that's just muscle practice.
I'm like imagining what it would be like if I touched my shoulder.
So this is Tom Teal, Thomas's dad, owner and operator of Archery, Idaho. So if we decide to do, let's say, like a 1-day archery here, what are we looking?
Well, there's a couple ways you can shoot in our range. First is the 1 day, come and shoot, and it's $10 to shoot for the day if you bring your own equipment. If you need to rent equipment, we still charge $10, and that covers the rental of equipment. Now, if you are fortunate enough to buy your bow from us, then the cost is only $5. We also have another membership. It's a monthly membership, so it gets you the combination to the front door. That is $35 a month for a single, $45 for a family. But if you're fortunate enough to buy your bows from us, then you get $10 off each one of those per month. So it's a great way to come enjoy archery, you know, whenever it's convenient for you.
So you mean to tell me that if I buy everything from you, you will give me the code to the door, and I could come in and shoot anytime I want?
Exactly. Yep.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So you just come upstairs and do your thing.
Exactly.
What about the targets?
Targets, we have them on sale downstairs they're like $1 a piece.
And you can do like the 5 targets, color targets.
5 spot, 3 spot, single spot. There's also fun game ones like tic-tac-toe, darts, bow poker, where you got a deck of 52 cards up there to play. So there's lots of fun games to play.
And animal targets.
Animal targets, balloons, I mean, you name it. It's, that's what archery's all about, just being fun.
Nice.
What if you bring a guest and they don't have a membership?
Well, there's a lock box here that you can put their $10 in if you bring a guest. So, if you got someone that's interested in shooting, bring them along. And there's a box there that you can, put their fee in and just have at it.
Awesome. So what's your website again?
ArcheryIdaho.com.
All right. And you guys got Facebook?
Absolutely.
Very
Facebook
cool.
and Instagram both.
All right. And Instagram, same name?
Yep, Archery Idaho. There's also an Archery Idaho Pocatello, so we have a couple of Instagrams.
Nice. All right. So make sure to check out his website and Facebook, and he'll get you all set up. And Thomas told us earlier that you guys do shipping and everything anywhere. Nice. Very cool. So make sure to check them out. I will put a link to their channels down below. And thanks. Give them a thumbs up. All right. See ya.
See you later.